is target imagery that CENTCOM dropped. 170 targets have now been hit over the course of 48 hours. Fireballs erupting, GBU-31s hitting Iranian coastal targets. 2 nights, 170 confirmed Iranian military targets hit. We don't have confirmed platforms yet, but this looks like it could be the work of F-15E Strike Eagles, F-16 CJ Wild Weasels, F-18 Super Hornets blasting off the deck of the carriers in the region, and even Tomahawk cruise missiles taking it to the Iranian regime because they're striking commercial shipping when they said they wouldn't. Oh, imagine that, Iran going back on the deal. Yeah, we kind of knew this would happen, but now we're seeing the Trump administration basically say it's time to finish the job. CENTCOM is armed, ready to rock, and unloading right now on these Iranian targets. Iran launching Shahed kamikaze drones into apartment buildings, civilian locations, hotels, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar. This is their answer to these strikes. Not military bases. They say they might be targeting military bases, but they're targeting civilian neighborhoods, residential towers, international airports, while their negotiators on the phone calling for a deal. Trump's on Air Force One, and they're frantically calling, again, trying to tap along, trying to say, yeah, no, we want a deal. Meanwhile, like he's got his hand on the red button, launching Shahed drones at neighborhoods of his Gulf partners. Iran's lead negotiator, Parliament Speaker Ghalibaf, posted publicly while the drones were basically still in the air. He said, America still hasn't learned that bullying is no longer cost-free. If you strike, you'll get hit. So he's basically saying, if you strike, we're going to strike civilian neighborhoods. And then he said the Strait of Hormuz will only open with Iranian arrangements, not American threats. Iran Foreign Ministry called U.S. strikes a gross war crime, of course, and called the American administration evil and psychopathic. Kind of like you're looking in the mirror when you say that. Mohsen Rezai, military advisor to the supreme leader in Iran, warned that the aggressor enemy and its accomplices will be severely punished. Yeah, the same rhetoric that we've heard from them for the last few months. We know at this point NATO has actually stepped in also and said, okay, we see what you guys are talking about. To me, it looks like NATO realizes that President Trump has given Iran every chance for peace. Every chance to just open the international waterway. You're going to get rich either way. Do you really need to be the mafia bosses that are just trying to completely exert your dominance like a dog peeing on hydrants? Like that dog in the neighborhood who's like, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine. That's Iran in the Strait of Hormuz. They're doing everything they can to protect that fiefdom. They might even be more powerful than the actual leadership in Tehran at this point. So we know we've talked about General Salami. General Salami is the Artesh general. Yeah, his name's actually General Salami. He's the younger brother of the Salami that was eliminated. And then we know that we've got General Glizzy. General Glizzy was eliminated along a roadside recently, which Iran said was an accidental death. Yeah, Iran, definitely an accidental death. And then we've got a new general on the scene, General Pickle. Apparently, General Pickle found himself in a real pickle during these 170 strikes on IRGC headquarters, naval locations. He got sliced extremely thin and put on a delicious sandwich next to his buddy Salami. But basically, this is the most consequential 48-hour military exchange since February 28th. It's the biggest one. So we're going to break this all down and see where it goes from here. And then also, we've got a global roundup section, so stay around for that. That's about 3/4 of the way through the video. At this point, it's pretty clear Iran felt lonely during the ceasefire, so now the 2,000-pound GBU-31 is making them feel satisfied in all the right spots. So let's talk about what just happened. Monday, July 7th, Iran attacks 3 commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz. 5 drones, missiles confirmed across all 3 vessels. Iranian state media ran its standard line. The ships had ignored warnings. No official claim of responsibility. So obviously, Admiral Tuna was feeling like he hadn't gotten press in a while, so he needed to come out and strike these ships. And then obviously, they're not going to claim any official responsibility. They're warlords, so they're not there to claim responsibility. They're there to just strike and pretend nothing happened. But at this point, CENTCOM's forward headquarters is going to strike back. They're going to strike back extremely hard and extremely decisively, and the U.S. Treasury simultaneously revoked the general license, allowing Iran to sell oil in a legitimate type of way. So Iran's only remaining revenue lifeline, worth billions per month, has been frozen yet again. And then CENTCOM on July 7th into the 8th hit 80 different targets. Night 2, July 8th to the 9th, bigger, 90 targets. The strike package expanded geographically to Iraq, Bandar Abbas, Kona Rock, Chabahar, Bushehr, and Al-Khala in northeastern Iran. Chabahar is Iran's only deep water port with access to the Indian Ocean, its only maritime outlet that bypasses the strait entirely. CENTCOM is not just defending the strait at this point, CENTCOM is methodically eliminating every naval option Iran possesses, one coastline city at a time. But it's a huge country. So night 1, 80 targets, night 2, 90 targets, but the Iranian rhetoric just gets louder and louder because we know the generals are all hardlining each other. It's a hardline measuring contest. Admiral Pickle, General Pita from the IRGC, they're trying to outdo each other. Admiral Pickle from the IRGC Navy is running out of fast attack boats, and he's finding himself in a pickle with no boats. So in the cockpit, there's no room for 2 p.m. energy crashes, no brain fog, no hesitation. Every decision matters. Every second counts, and that's executed these strikes, the strike architecture. So I see the F-15E as the backbone of these precision strike capabilities in the theater. 2 seats, dual role, 2 massive engines built to go fast and low into defended airspace and put ordnance exactly where it needs to go. In this target package, that means GBU-31s, which are the 2,000-pound bombs, and then GBU-38s, which are the 500-pound bombs. And if you're hitting static targets, you could use those GPS-only bombs. If you were using moving targets, going up against those moving targets, then you might need to actually flex to something that has a laser designator as well. And speaking of the F-15E and the F-16 CJ, that was a surface-to-air missile that could have been taken out right there. So that could have been F-16 CJ, Wild Weasel striking right there. Looks like some coastal sites right there. That could be getting hit from the Wild Weasel. So here are the recent strikes. I just want to do a quick breakdown of the strike footage for you. We're on X. This is CENTCOM's X page. So as we watch, that's a ballistic missile launcher. Looks like larger tubes on that. Could be variant of the S-300, and then coastal radar batteries, radar sites. That's a massive explosion right there. From this far away, it's 2,000 pounds. That looked like ballistic missile launchers right there, getting absolutely decimated by CENTCOM, trying to just finally send a message to the Mullahs. I don't know what they need. They need a carrier pigeon? No, it looks like they need a 500-pound bomb. These are drones, likely sitting there on the runway, likely close to Chabahar, are the reports that we're seeing. Massive explosion there. Looks like a 500-pounder or 2,000-pounder. Big explosions rocking the coastline. You can see the water in that frame right there on the right side. And then more drone launchers. Those look like drone launching capability there going bye-bye. Lots of their drones getting struck. And that looked like that could even be a Hellfire. So a lot of these strikes are happening on the different things that are targeting ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Looks like directed strikes. Again, this is a direct message to the IRGC generals that are probably in charge of the country at this point. And what's going to speak to the IRGC hardliners? Well, nothing negotiation-wise. And the Mullahs know that. The Mullahs know they can kind of play good cop, bad cop, tap along the world, and allow their generals to continue to wreak havoc, because they're probably getting a slice of that pie too, right? If they're able to actually take control and hold the Strait of Hormuz, the generals are going to win out big. Also, the terrorist regime itself, everybody that's a part of it, is likely going to win out big as well if they can fully control the Strait of Hormuz. Looks like CENTCOM is fully crushing the drone capability that's targeting these commercial ships. Showing the IRGC, hey, you're going to target civilians, we're going to target your military bases, we're going to target your airports, the places that you use. Dual use, by the way. The IRGC loves dual use situations. So when I look at this target footage, I'm thinking F-16 CJ, Wild Weasel, F-15E, and also F-18s blasting off the carrier. Very nimble, having those F-18s right there. They can just blast off the carrier, be the little scalpels in the sky, and make it happen. They've got AGM-84 harpoons for IRGC naval targets, and then the EA-18G Growler with the ALQ-99 could be helping enable these strikes as well. And then you add in the Tomahawk cruise missile from Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, 1,000-pound warhead, 1,000-mile range, 100 feet off the deck, while Iran's radar is optimized for higher altitude threats. And then MQ-9s dispersed into the mix, hitting IRGC fast attack craft. And CENTCOM's official statement included words that should make every Iranian commander lose sleep. So basically, the F-15E finds the target, Wild Weasel takes out the radar, Super Hornet closes the loop. This is the threesome that makes everybody at the party a little bit nervous. So let's talk about what Iran is actually doing in response, because it's important for us to know this. Iran is saying that they're targeting Patriot missile interceptors, early warning systems, fuel tanks, but what they're actually doing is targeting civilians. The Bahrain Defense Force said Iran is persisting in systematic hostile approaches through heinous attacks involving missiles and drones targeting civilians in the Kingdom of Bahrain. So as you can see, this is what Iran does. They say they're going to attack military targets, and they just focus on civilian targets. They're trying to get capitulation, and this this is exactly what a terrorist regime would do. They think just like a terrorist mindset would, because that's who's actually running the regime at this point. We know that that's their doctrine, right? They have proxy war. They've done proxy war in multiple different theaters, and so now they're just using those same techniques of what they've taught their proxy armies as they attack their Gulf partners. Is exactly what they do, and it's right out of their terrorist playbook. You made it to the Global Roundup, my friends. So Ukraine has been conducting one of the most aggressive deep strike campaigns of the entire war. On July 8th and 9th, Ukrainian drones hit 3 Russian oil refineries. They set 2 oil tankers ablaze in the Sea of Azov and struck pipeline pumping stations in a wave of attacks stretching from the border regions all the way into the Ural Mountains, including a strike on the Omsk refinery. So as you can see, Ukraine is taking the gloves off, and they're releasing drone footage of those Russian oil tankers getting hit, and those tankers really have no defense. And that brings us to the 40 chess strategic analysis section, my friends. So President Trump declared the ceasefire was over. He did leave a door open, though. At the NATO summit, he said, "I'm not sure I want to make a deal with them. Let's just finish the job." But then aboard Air Force One, he revealed that Iran called. Someone on the Iranian side contacted the U.S. and said they wanted to make a deal so badly. He wouldn't say who, but this is the most important intelligence question on board right now. With Majabta Khamenei invisible for 130 days, that was the cardboard Ayatollah, who is actually controlling the trigger in Tehran right now. We don't really know. So the U.S. can't really sign a ceasefire with a ghost. And right now, Iran's supreme leader is still a ghost. We don't know who's actually in charge. But the supreme leader being in charge, I don't think that's going to have a very long shelf life either. And then the economic pressure is being ramped back up with Iran not being able to legitimately sell their oil anymore. But they'll find a way to make money for at least the top people in the regime, right? As they sit in their golden palaces on their golden crappers, they're not going to suffer as much as the other people, the rest of the people, the free people in Iran will. So what do you guys think happens next? Do you think that we see the hostilities continue? 170 targets over 48 hours. This is pretty wild. Likely F-15Es, F-16s, F-18s, MQ-9s, taking the gloves off, throwing the whole kitchen sink at these targets again. Let me know where you guys think this conflict goes in the comments below. And then remember, head over to maxafterburnerenergy.com and sign up for the email list. It's totally free, and you'll be notified when we have energy drinks, merch, and we'll do a roundup throughout the week to make sure you don't miss any Max Afterburner content. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. We'll see you in the next video. This is Ryan, also known as Max Afterburner, signing off. I can see like an IRGC Naval Command and Staff meeting. It's Admiral Tuna. He's like, meeting called to order at 0600, Agenda 1, strategic assessment of the last 48 hours. And then General Pita stands up and he's like, I would like to note that our original 60 fast attack boat fleet was actually sent in for repairs because there were a few scratches on them. And then Admiral Tuna's like, well, where are they right now? And he's like, well, we decided to put them at the bottom of the ocean so that they could be cleaned by fish. And then Admiral Tuna's like, genius. Yes, let the fish do the work. Yes, we're so innovative here at the IRGC.